Hello, welcome to pro tip number 72, where today I'll be covering how you can deploy the IT Agent Portable with Intune to your environment. Now, before I head off and go into the actual setup, how you can actually deploy it and what the options are, I think it's important to start off with why IT Agent Portable. Like, what is the idea behind IT Agent Portable? Why do we even have it? Etc. So really the main reason for having a portable agent is that it allows you to more flexibly use the agent in whatever fashion you want. This specifically comes down to triggering it and running it whenever you desire, customized to your needs. Now, one of the most used, or one of the main reasons why this is being used, is to trigger scans on logon. So the moment that somebody logs onto the device, it automatically triggers a scan. Now, that is only possible if you do it with some sort of like scheduled task or GPO or something along those lines, where it actually the trigger comes from the device itself, not from the actual piece of software. So in order to do that, really the easiest, the best way to do that really is to have some sort of portable agent that you can then trigger with other systems. And since the IT Agent Portable is just an executable, it means that you have the option to call it with the script, command line, whatever you want, whatever way that you have to trigger executables. You can use that to initiate the IT Agent Portable. So with that in mind, we're going to go through the setup, how you or where you get all of this, how you configure it using Intune, how you deploy it within your environment, and how you can set it up in a way where it does trigger a scan every time somebody logs onto a device. Now, as I mentioned, the main reason why people choose or go this route is if they have devices that really require them to have an accurate overview of logon information. When you use the regular agent, it scans on intervals every 4 hours, every day, whatever it might be. If somebody logs into that device in between those intervals, there's no record of those people logging in. There's no record of them. So with this method, you should have a record of all the logins that have happened on your devices, because as I said earlier, every time somebody logs in, a scan triggers, it picks up that their user is currently logged into that device, and that information is then stored within Lansweeper. So to give you an idea quickly before we head over into the configuration, where we will find this information is if we had to config user info last logon information. That's where the logon information should appear at the end of this. So that's where you can find it if you're looking for it. Now I have 2 VMs set up for this, one that actually hosts the hub, and one that actually is then the machine that somebody logs into that should be scanned. Now, the first step is getting all the files, etc. that you need. Relatively easy. Head over to Discovery, download installer/packages, and then as you scroll down to the IT Agent Discovery, you'll see here the IT Agent Portable Windows executable. This is the one that you'll need. This is the one that we will be using. So grab that. The next thing that you'll also need to grab is actually a file from Microsoft. This is the tool that they use to let you create Intune deployment packages. So if you're familiar with Intune, you'll already have this or you'll know about this. This is basically just Intune WinAppUtil.exe. They have a GitHub where you can just grab this actual executable as well. So that's the second piece. The last piece that you'll need is a script that I've created and that you'll need to adjust. So, there's a few steps that we're going to go through before that. But you'll also need the script that we have. The script is there to create the scheduled task on the machines that you're deploying it to, as well as to then also create the script that the scheduled task calls on that then triggers the IT agent portable. So before we head into that, let's head over to our VM that hosts our hub. So if we have over here, you have 2 VMs. On the left-hand side is our server with our hub. On the right-hand side is our client. On our hub, some of the things that we need to do is you need to go to settings, go to data transfer. You need to enable IT agent portable code. This is the key that is used to encrypt and decrypt the information. So it's important, at least as far as I understand. So it's important that you have that key because it will need that. So you enable that, you generate a key, you get the key, you can copy it here with the button. You will need that for the script later on. The other thing that you'll need to do is, now that we're here anyway on this machine, another thing that you'll need to ensure that you do is you will need to install certificates or deploy certificates throughout your environment. Now, Intune has its own method of easily distributing certificates, so I'd recommend using that since we're using Intune anyway. You can find instructions on that quite easily online, or you just ask AI and it'll tell you as well. Both work perfectly. What you'll need here is obviously you'll need the certificate. So we're going to head over to the Lansweeper Network Discovery folder. There you can go to the hub, go to SSL, and here you will find the certificate that you'll need to install. If you do not do this, it will simply not run, and you'll have to basically troubleshoot to figure out that the error that it's giving is it's saying that it's an unsafe connection, or the connection was not accepted, or something along those lines. So those are the kind of things. Be sure to deploy that certificate as well before you actually run your tests, etc. So that being said, I think we can head over to the next bit here, which is actually taking a look at doing or setting up this creating this Intune package. Now, to create the Intune package, I don't actually remember which device I did that on. Let's see. I might have done it here. Nope, I did not do it here, which means I've done it here. And then we go to this PC temp. So the way that I did it is I downloaded all the files that you need to. At the very least, you need the Windows Intune app util. And you need, this is not an agent discovery, we don't actually need this. This is from a different pro tip, the previous one. But what you'll need is here the IT agent portable. It's important that this folder structure is kind of maintained, because I've written the commands, etc. I've written them expecting that this folder structure is there. So try and kind of or utilize the same folder structure basically if you're utilizing the same commands as I am. So that's just a piece of information there that you'll need. So I basically have this in my temp folder. I have packaging. I have a source in which I have my IT agent portable folder with the executable in there. And then the output folder is what it will use later on to actually create the file itself, the Intune file. Now, for this to work, all you really need to do is, and all these commands and things like that, they are in the blog version. So if you want to grab them real quick, head over to the blog version. You can grab them there. So what you will need to do here is just open a command prompt. I like to just open it as administrator, just in case. And then you just need to run the command for the Intune WinApp util. And that, once I have that, there we go. That's just doing basically wrapping that executable into an Intune deployment package thingamajiggy and throwing it into the output folder. Now it says it already exists, which obviously I've just shown you, so I've already done this before. It is doing whatever it needs to be done, and at that point in the output, you'll have your Intune deployment package basically ready there. So next up is that we'll have to head over to Intune. So heading over to Intune, then we'll have to go over to Apps, where under Windows, we can then create a new app. You'll have to select a Windows 32 app. It will then ask you to select that specific file that you had. So since I have that on one of my VMs here, on my Hyper-Vs, I should say, I guess. Let me just go over, throw that in here so that I have it on my machine here. File. I might have done it here as well. Anyway. Portable. There we go. Hit OK. And then you can add publisher things like that in your publisher access required. You can do all your categorization. This all most of this stuff kind of depends on your specific Intune environment, how you've set things up, and how detailed you are in filling all this stuff in. Most of this is not required. So that's there. I don't need this to show up in the portal. Next, then in the program, this is where there's a few things that you'll need. Again, these things listed in the blog. So we have an install command, which I can throw in there. We have a uninstall command, which I can throw in there if I hit my Control V correctly. There's some additional options here. You probably want to do this as a system, not as a user, but that's default behavior, etc., etc. All this doesn't really need to change. Requirements. There are the agent, or the portable agent does have specific requirements, but the minimum requirements, even like the minimum operating system that you can select in Intune, is also supported by the portable agent. So again, nothing really there special that you need to do. Next, detection rules is something that you can do, because then you can actually detect whether the installation was successful or not. So we will do that. This is basically just a file. The path is then the path that we have set it to install to, which is just on the C drive in a specific folder. And then the file itself will be called that. And then detection method is just that the file exists. That is basically it. There we go. Now we have the detection rule ready. Dependencies is optional. There's no real dependencies. Again, this is all optional. This is where obviously you'll be adding it to certain groups or certain users, depending on who you want to deploy it to, etc. This is the same group that you'll want to use for the script later on for setting the scheduled task, as well as the group that you'll most likely want to use to do your certificate deployment. So it's advisable that you create a group somewhere that you know you want this functionality to work on, and then you can use that in all of these. Next, then it's review and create. That's all reviewed. Basically, at that point, it's done. It will go off. It will start deploying. So I'm going to leave that there. I do have mine already set here. So I do have mine ready to go. Once it's actually deployed, then you'll see that it'll tell you one is installed, and you'll be able to see what device it's on, etc. I'm assuming, at least, if it will let me. No, maybe it won't. Device install status, maybe it'll show me here. I'm assuming, yes. So here it shows me that it's on the dev eval thing, which is my evaluation copy here of Windows 11. So that is indeed correct, because then if I go to the C drive, Lansweeper IT Agent Portable, it is right here. So that is part one. Part two is to get the scheduled task created. Where do we do that? We go to devices. We go to, under the manage devices here, just scripts and remediations, platform scripts. And this is where we create the deployment for the script. So we create a new script, Windows 10 and later. name is here. Scheduled task, IT agent portable test, basically. And there's no need for a description. Next. Now for that, we need a script. The script, again, will be linked. That script is not complete yet. You will need to add things to it. Here I have the script open. What do you need to adjust? Well, there is a reference here to your hub server. So you'll need to know either the name or the IP address of your hub. You'll also need to know the port. This is the default port. Most likely you'll be using this one. So that is most likely just what you can leave, but you will need to enter here an IP or a name for a device, a name that obviously can get resolved. And then importantly, here is where your key needs to be. Again, if you want to know where your key is, you just head over to your portable, your hub. This is the key that you need. You need to paste that in here. You need to change this to your IP or the name of the server that's hosting the hub that you want to send the scans to. And the rest can be left alone. Basically, I mean, you can read through it. You can see what it does. You can see, for example, here that it adds or it creates the script in the program data folder. If you want that to be in the same folder as the executable, you feel free to change it. I just kept it there. Now, again, that is a script. Once you've adjusted it, you save it. You go to Intune. Here you select the file. This is my script. Run the script using logged on credentials. You'll want to set that to no, because otherwise it might fail to actually execute the script if the, whatever the logged on user does not have sufficient permissions. If you say no to this, I believe it just tries using system permissions. So that should make it work, and we should be able to do it. And then the other thing that needs to be done is the script signature check does also not need to be enabled. So that next, again, here we go with the groups again. You select the same group. Next, you can review it and create it. And again, once that's done, you'll be able to see the deployments of it as well. So here I can see device status, hey, succeeded. It's also on there. Again, I can confirm that by heading over to this program data, Lansweeper, run scan file is here. Hey, and then I can even further check it by going to my scheduled tasks and taking a look. Here is a Lansweeper scheduled task, which triggers at the logon of any user, and it performs this specific script, which is PowerShell, which is then calling on the script that was embedded in the previous script that I've just shown, basically. And within that script is just the command to start the portable agent, run the scan, and send it over to the other server that is hosting your hub. So that is basically how you set it all up. Now, obviously, the proof is in the pudding. So let's go over here. First on the hub, let's go to the discovery results, because this is where we should start seeing the result coming in. Now we can see, actually don't know. The last time it did this, my time zones are all over the place because these VMs are on different time zones for some reason. It says here 2:30 a.m. is the last one. It is now 4:21 according to the time zone of this VM. So we'll know when something new comes in that it is actually worked. So what we're going to do here is it's this way. We're going to sign out. There we go. We're going to sign back in. And that should trigger whatever is needed. Oh, doesn't like snapping to the side now all of a sudden. That's okay. We don't need you anymore. So we basically now just kind of have to sit here and wait for the discovery results to kind of come in. So right now what it's doing is that obviously the scheduled task is triggering the IT agent portable, which is running its scan. Once that scan is completed, it will send it over to this hub, which will then grab it, recognize it. There we go. It's already there. 422. Now you can go in here and kind of verify and look at a bunch of different like data points. They're all in here, but that obviously is not how you regularly consume this information. The way that you normally do that is, you probably wouldn't even look there, is you head over to Lansweeper itself. So we're going to head over to Lansweeper, go to the inventory, type in dev, because I know that's the device that we're looking for. So now that it has synced, let me head over to config and user info. And as you can see here, I did a few logins, but the most recent one, you can see here, my user 2 minutes ago, I logged in and it obviously captured all the information, as well as obviously did a full rescan of all the other things that are on my specific device. So that's basically it. As I mentioned in the beginning, you can use the portable agent if you need more control over when your devices are scanned, and that they don't need to rely on a specific schedule, but they can be triggered by something else. And this is just one way of using it. Obviously, it is an executable. You can call on it however you like. You can deploy it however you like. I just thought that this was a wide used method. A lot of people have Intune, but a lot of people use Intune. So this is one of the ways that you can use it. You can deploy it throughout your environment and get more accurate user logon information at the same time. So that'll be it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.